Welcome to Food from My Kitchen. In today's episode of Keto Cooking, we will be making a roast of epic proportions. We've got lovely carrots, beautifully steamed red cabbage, garden peas, roasted swede, and a whole spiced roasted chicken. Then we're going to top that off with a beautiful homemade gravy. To get the lowdown on how we do it, keep watching this video for step-by-step instructions. Here are the main ingredients you'll need. A whole medium-sized chicken. This one weighs approximately 1.65 kg. Swede. Garden peas. 2 medium carrots. Yes, you can have carrots on a keto lifestyle. Just have them in small quantities. Red cabbage. Spring onions. Tomato. Garlic. 2 heaped tablespoons of almond flour. First things first, let's work on the marinade for the chicken. In a food processor, add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 6 cloves of fresh garlic, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose seasoning, a tablespoon of powdered chicken seasoning, and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Then blend together. It's totally fine if your marinade has chunky bits. It doesn't need to be completely smooth. Now smother the chicken in the marinade and massage thoroughly. Make sure to get a layer of marinade in every nook and cranny of the chicken. It's important to turn the chicken over to the other side and massage the marinade in thoroughly on that side too. Take your time when doing this. You don't want any part of the chicken to be left without seasoning. Untuck the wings and be sure to give them some attention too. Once you are happy that you have seasoned your meat sufficiently, this will be transferred to a baking tray and will go into a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius for approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes. Turn over halfway through cooking. The next job is making the roast swede. Cut your swede in half and save the half you're not using for another recipe. Peel the swede all the way round. Into medium-sized chunks. Don't make your chunks too large or they will take a long time to cook. Before putting the swede straight into the oven, place them in a pot and boil them for about 25 minutes or until the swede starts to soften slightly. Once the swede is ready to be transferred to a baking tray, be sure to save the water that they were cooking in to use later in your gravy. Now transfer the swede to a baking tray. As you do so, you'll notice that the corner edges of the swede fluff up slightly while you handle them, which is perfectly fine. Swede has a very similar composition to potatoes, but with fewer carbs, which make them an excellent choice for a keto meal. Add some olive oil. About 2 tablespoons should do it. Season with salt and a dash of black pepper, and gently maneuver the swede around the tray to coat them in the oil, salt, and black pepper. Now place in the oven and roast alongside the chicken for the remainder of the cooking time, which will be approximately 50 minutes. prepare those accompanying vegetables. Cut your cabbage in half, and you've guessed it, save the half you don't need for another time. Now roughly slice the cabbage. It doesn't need to be in any particular size, shape or length. And once that's done, put it in a pot ready to go on the stove. Now the carrots only need very simple preparations too. Top and tail the carrots and peel thoroughly. Chop into chunks and then slice them lengthways. Place your carrots in a separate pot. Once your vegetables are on the stove boiling away in their respective pots, you will see the boiling of the red cabbage will cause the water to turn into a very deep purple colour, which is why it is so important to keep the carrots separate. Otherwise, the cabbage water will dye the carrots purple and they will lose all of their visual appeal. Keep them on a low simmer for approximately 15 minutes or a little longer depending on how tender you want your veg. Meanwhile, let's do a little preparation for our gravy. Cut the ends off of the spring onions and remove any parts that may have wilted. Then slice thinly. And rest to one side. Let's do the same with the garlic. Dice it and then rest to the side. Now the same for the tomatoes. Cut in chunks and rest to the side. Once you are about 5 to 6 minutes away from serving, put your garden peas on a low simmer and let's make our gravy. Into a preheated pan, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and allow your oil to come up to temperature. Then add your spring onions and let them sizzle. Add your garlic and then accentuate the flavour with a teaspoon of garlic powder. Add the tomatoes. Then add a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of dried parsley, a dash of black pepper, and then use a potato masher to press the tomatoes, allowing the natural oils to be released in the pan. That we had saved from earlier on, which had the swede cooked in. This is approximately half a pint. And then add 2 heaped tablespoons of almond flour, which is used to thicken the gravy. Stir thoroughly, mixing through any almond flour lumps, and then turn the heat up to get the gravy bubbling. Once bubbling, it is now a matter of preference if you want to serve your gravy with pieces or if you want it smooth. For this recipe, I'll put my gravy through a strainer and serve it smooth. You'll also notice the gravy is quite light in colour. If you want a darker and richer looking gravy, add the juices released from your chicken once it has finished cooking. There you have it. We've made a roast of epic proportions. We've got beautiful vegetable accompaniments, lovely roasted swede, and a whole spiced roasted chicken, and that wonderful homemade gravy. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and thank you so much for your presence. Be sure to check out another episode of Keto Cooking. And if you want to be notified of the next video upload, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. Also, here on this channel, Food from My Kitchen, this is a community, so feel free to comment below if you have made this recipe. And do tell if you've done any of it differently. I'd love to hear your suggestions, so keep them coming.